Are there any things we as believers can do to open ourselves up to demons? Mikey talked about a few of them earlier. So we got Ouija board, astrology, seance in the middle, and tarot cards. And so I really hope that if you're a believer watching this, you take scripture serious, walking as the Messiah walked, and trying to be obedient to the Father. That four out of these five you're not doing, but and I know Mikey really want to piggyback on what I'm about to say. So on the bottom right hand corner, this is this this is the one way that Satan gets into a lot of people's lives, and they open themselves up watching satanic and entertainment that promotes sin. So let me take that off screen real quick. So especially certain types of movies, and even believers will let their children watch Disney movies that are filled with magic. So one way to open yourself up to the demonic realm is through, and you might want to break this down. Hollywood, doesn't that have a meaning?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at, I mean, we say that all the time, Hollywood. You just think it's like one word. You don't even think about breaking it down. But
etymology.
The wood, yeah, the wood of holly. What is that? But that's what a lot of witches make their wands out of, because it's known to lull you to sleep. So the holly berries put you to sleep, and so they make their witch's wand out of holly. And so Hollywood is literally casting its spell over humanity, lulling them asleep. It's broadcasting, if you will, right? You think about who are the actors that come on to the set of a movie. It's the cast. When you watch the credits, it says cast. And these people are literally called stars, which in the Bible is a symbol for angels or fallen angels.
You change the TV channel.
The channel, yep. You're watching channels.
Programming.
Exactly. And it's like all this stuff is just right in your face. American Idol. I mean, they just put it right out there. And then to the point of where they're telling you that they're channeling spirits, and it's like we're literally being entertained by people who are admitting they're channeled by spirits. So if we think with spiritual eyes and we think about it the way it really is happening, we live in the physical and we don't really see like this, but we're sitting in front of this image and we're watching demons entertain us. Like they're literally, when I see a stage performer, okay, like say Beyonce, she says, I don't know, when I go out there, boom, I'm not Beyonce anymore, I'm Sasha Fierce. Yeah. And I see a crowd of people lifting their hands and they want anything to just touch. If I could just touch the hem of her garment, and that is a demon in her. This is demonic worship with thousands of people in the crowd screaming and just wanting to touch. If I could just touch that demon. This is what Satan wants. He wants worship. So he's found a way. Hey, I'll give you everything. If you give me access to your temple, I'll give you all the kingdoms of the world. And when he gets inside of a person on stage and has thousands of people raising their hands and chanting the lyrics that he wrote, imagine the pride that comes in him. Imagine the gratitude he gets from being worshipped by that audience. There's more people in that crowd than in your local church.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So thanks for sharing that. And I just want to stop and take a minute to channel.
Oh my goodness!
Come on, man.
Yeah, that's gonna be chopped out. And
hold on.
Oh, it's back to the covenant experiment.
Oh, Josh,
the Holy Spirit.
There's a joke between me and Josh. I won't say it out loud, but about that. He's giving me a funny name.
Let me give you one thing before we move on past the TV stuff, because people say, look, it's fiction, it doesn't affect me, blah, blah,
I'm just watching something.
Exactly. But Jesus said what? He said, to look at a woman with lust is the same as committing adultery. So if we see things, just to hate somebody is the same as murder. Sin starts in the mind. And so here in Romans 1, it's giving all this description starting in 29. It's talking about being filled with unrighteousness, fornication, envy, all these things, terrible things. And then it says, in verse 31, Romans 1:32, says, who knowing the judgment of God, that they which committeth such things are worthy of death. Yeah, those people are worthy of death because they committed those things. Not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. So if you are an ally and you go to these parades or whatever, I'm not one, but I support it. I would never have an abortion, but I support freedom of choice or whatever. Even if you don't do it, if you support it, you're entertained by it, you're enjoying watching fornication, watching immorality, watching blasphemy. You can hardly watch a movie without hearing the Lord's name blasphemed, without seeing violence and murder and witchcraft, especially. And these are specifically listed right above it. It's talking about, all these wicked things like witchcraft and fornication and all that. Murder is literally on there. How many of us are being entertained by murder? So we are just as worthy of death if we're entertained, if we're taking pleasure in those that do them.
Yep, and Randy Smith had a great comment that goes along with this. Says, so much to cover on entertainment goes so deep and has everything to do with demons and idolatry.
This is good stuff.
This good stuff. So I would totally agree, and I get a second opportunity to not say what I said a minute ago, but I challenge what I meant to say earlier. I feel all believers that's watching this to, whether you're watching it live or later on, to really take inventory of how you're entertaining yourself with the music you're listening to, with what movies you're sitting there watching, and whether it has sinful satanic stuff in it. Because Job talked about in the book of Job to make a covenant with your eyes. And I like to, I know that verse is really, if you look back in the context, what it's really talking about, he's talking about looking at women lustfully or whatever. But we can apply it to, it's a principle that we can apply